Mic check, mic check. Mic check, mic check. Mic check. Mic check.
It's right over here. Yep. John, if I could just get access to share my screen so I could put it on the Zoom.
Your host now, so you'll just have to end the meeting when you're done.
Okay.
All right.
What about recording it?
What's that?
What about
It's already recording
Okay, this doesn't look like it.
on YouTube.
Oh, it's on YouTube, not on here. Gotcha. Gotcha. Okay.
Are there seats for the students?
Yes, you guys are right there. Right, those two seats there. Hey, girls, how are you today? Good. Okay.
Good evening, everyone. Please rise for a salute to the flag, followed by a moment of silence for retiree Timothy Murray. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Item D, approval of minutes. Do I have a motion?
Move.
Second,
Second.
all in favor? We'll now have our external audit presentation.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome Marianne Van Dyne
who's here with us this evening. Marianne is our external auditor with RS Abrams, and she has a report for the board this evening. Welcome, Marianne. Thank you for being here tonight.
Okay. Thank you for inviting me to present the results of the 2 audits that we completed this year. Once again, you received an unmodified opinion, which is the best opinion you could get as a school district. We had no problem giving you a clean opinion. I wanted to thank Anthony Cedrone, his team. They do a great job with us and getting the audit done in a timely manner. In addition to giving you a opinion, we also look at your internal controls. We felt your internal controls were very strong. There was no material weaknesses, and you do a great job. So all in all, I think, you have a strong financial position. You maintained a 4%, which is where you want to be. And you do have a very long-term plan, financial plan, that's really important. So all in all, thank you for all your help and great results. Okay.
Thank you, Marianne. Any questions from the board for Marianne?
Thank you, Mary.
Okay, thank you.
Item F, communications to the Board of Ed were received from Jennifer Strauss, Maren and Matt Rich, Diane Calabrese, Tricia Stasi, Wendy Zerch, Tara Ferraro, Louis and Lauren Lagamorsino. Item G, Superintendent's Report. Mr. McNamara.
Thank you, and good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here tonight. So you passed first test, you found your way back here. I know it was a little bit of a maze tonight, so thank you for joining us tonight. We have our school play. Typically, our meetings take place in our auditorium when you first walk into the building. Our school play is doing their final dress rehearsal tonight for their show this upcoming weekend, so we shifted down here tonight. Just wanted to start. We have some congratulations to give tonight. We have accepted the resignation for the purpose of retirement from Catherine Kennedy, who is with us tonight. Catherine is our occupational therapist in the district, does an outstanding job for us. She has been serving in that role since 2005. We were really fortunate in 2005 to have someone with experience joining us. She was coming from the East Rockaway School District with a few years experience, and also had some extensive experience prior to that working with adult population in that role. Really does an outstanding job for us and a really great part of the PPS team. Relates well to her students, works really hard, and we are certainly going to miss her. We thank her for her dedicated service for the past 16 years, and we'd like to wish her well in her retirement. I believe she's joined here tonight by her husband, Kevin, and her daughter, Teresa, and son, Thomas. So I'd like to congratulate her and embarrass her a little bit further by having her come up here and accept the plaque and doing a picture. So if you wouldn't mind joining me up here, Catherine. All right, just a couple updates for me tonight for the board, as we do each month, just our COVID-19 update. This is current picture across Nassau County. You can see the blue bars on there represent the per 100,000 number for our COVID cases for Wantagh, and the orange Nassau County. You can see we're running a little bit above Nassau County rates right now. These are the numbers since the start of COVID. You can see over the past 7 days, there's been about 22 cases in town. And these are the numbers for school. We've had, for our district, we've had 101 cases so far since the start of the school year. I know the slide's tough to see, I apologize. But it's 101 cases total in the district, 88 student cases and 13 staff cases. We've had an uptick, you can see in November, we've had 18 cases to this point, which is up a little bit from October. October, we certainly saw a nice decline. We only had 14 cases in October. After, start with a bunch in September where we had 56 cases for our students. So that's where we currently stand. We'll continue to monitor it, and I'll keep the board updated as we go. Start off tonight with just a congratulations to our varsity girls volleyball team. They were Long Island champs on Saturday, so congratulations to them. The team leaves tomorrow morning. Yeah, please applause for them. It's terrific. I give our volleyball parents a lot of credit. Those are very stressful matches to sit through. And the girls just did an outstanding job. Really, really proud of them. The team leaves tomorrow morning at I think around 9 o'clock or so to head up to Glens Falls, where they'll be representing the district. They're one of just 4 teams left in their class currently playing in the state. They have some pool play tomorrow, Saturday, I believe. And then if they're successful there, they move on to the New York State Championship game on Sunday afternoon. So fingers crossed. Hopefully the girls do well, and we wish them well as they head up to Glens Falls. Update mask requirement. We had, and I don't have a lot of information for you because I just have where we, just really based on a Newsday article that was published this afternoon, saying that I think most of you are familiar with that this, the initial mask requirement in schools for New York State was for 90 days. And there was an article in Newsday today that the commission that passed that regulation met this morning, and they have an intention of passing that further, of extending that further out. So I know that's, to the disappointment of many. That's where it currently stands, but I haven't gotten anything official from the Department of Health yet. I certainly anticipate that in the coming days. I don't know, what that extension looks like. If it's 90 days, 30 days, 60, I don't have those answers for you at this point. As I said, that just is based on what I read in a Newsday article. Nothing official from New York State DOH yet. So some of you may have seen that, so I just wanted to address that tonight as well. Update, just a couple things. Wantagh High School, we had, I thank Dr. Gazzone and his team. We had an issue with power service on Tuesday at the high school, where one of the phases of power went down. We were running on partial power for about 3 hours or so. Dr. Gazzone and his team did a great job, and our students and staff were terrific. It just had kind of an intermittent impact on the building, impacted certain rooms and certain spots in the building. But it was an external issue with a power line that comes into the building, actually right behind the athletic field. And National Grid was great. They got out here, they addressed it, and got us back up and running by about 12:30, 1 o'clock on Tuesday. So just wanted to update the community on that. And as I mentioned earlier, our school play is this weekend. I hopefully you come out and support. It's nice to be back on the stage and with a live audience. So they're doing the show The Outsiders. So we certainly hope you can come out and support our school play this weekend as well. And just from our administrative team and Board of Education, we'd like to extend our well wishes for Happy Thanksgiving to our entire community. We certainly hope everyone gets to enjoy some time with family and friends in the coming days. So thank you for attending tonight, and I'll turn it back over to our board president, Mr. Greco.
Thank you, Mr. McNamara. Item H1, personnel actions, instructional staff. Item H1A, B, C, and D. Do I have a motion? Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Item E, F, and G. Can I have a motion?
Move.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item H2, personnel actions, civil service. H2A, B, and C. Do I have a motion?
Move.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item H3, contractual and other authorizations. Item H3A, B, C, and D. And I have a motion.
Move.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item E, F, and G. May I have a motion?
Move.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We'd like to thank the Forest Lake PTA for their generous donation to the district. Item H, I, J, K, and L. Do I have a motion?
Move.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Item I, unfinished business. We have none. Item J, new business. J1, approval of committees on special ed and preschool special ed. Do I have a motion?
Move.
Second.
Second.
All in favor? I have a motion to adjourn to executive session.
President, I make a motion to adjourn this meeting to executive session to discuss personnel and security issues.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Now we'll have our report from the student government. Emma.
Good evening. My name's Angelina, and I'm one of the student government presidents.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jenna. I am the Public Relations Officer for Student Government, and I'm stepping in for the other co-president who cannot be with us tonight because they are taking part in our awesome drama production.
First off, we would like to again congratulate the girls varsity volleyball team, who has done an amazing job winning the Long Island Championship and will be moving on to states this weekend.
In addition, winter sports such as basketball, winter track, boys swim and dive, bowling, cheerleading, gymnastics, and wrestling all began this week.
Student government started a food drive this past Monday for Wantagh families in need that will end tomorrow. We are collecting canned vegetables, soups, and other Thanksgiving food items. The food will be delivered to the families right before Thanksgiving so they can have a great holiday meal. Also, during the past few weeks, the Key Club held a book drive for the book fairies, as well as a candy drive for soldiers. We thank them for always helping out in the community on a local and global level.
The first quarter report cards will be coming out this Friday, the 19th. Additionally, Wantagh High School Drama began performing the Outsiders play this week and are performing as we speak. They will also be performing this weekend, so make sure to go watch it and support the students. Showtimes are Friday at 7, the Saturday matinee at 1, and also later on Saturday at 7 o'clock.
The band is starting to fundraise for their upcoming Disney trip. If you are interested in buying candy, popcorn, or cookie dough to support the members of the band, either contact the trip coordinator, which is me, or Mr. Cochran. This Friday is the due date for Sports Night theme binders, and Miss Grange and Miss Pepe will be announcing the Sports Night overall captains this coming Monday. We wish all the girls who submitted their ideas the best of luck.
Wantagh's third annual Winter Wonderland will be taking place the 27th at the old train station. There will be food, drinks, and little stores for shopping, and the tree and menorah will be lit.
We thank you for your time and wish you all a very happy and healthy Thanksgiving.
Thank you, girls. All right, Foundation for Educational Excellence.
Sorry, I'm a little short. Good evening, everybody. I'm Liz Goober. I'm here along with some of my board members on behalf of the Wantagh Foundation. We have some great updates, and we have we also have some awards that we're going to be providing to some of our teachers for our mini grants. First, this month, we completed our Tech Buddy sessions with our first graders and kindergartners who just received their Chromebooks, and it was a great success, and it was held at our foundation center. We want to thank our middle school volunteers who took their time out of their Saturday mornings to connect with their first graders and kindergartners and support them through the use of their Chromebooks. It was great to see the way they connected with the older middle school students, and they were great role models and for the younger ones. So we really do appreciate their time, and it was such a success that we hope to continue it through the year. The other thing that we want to also announce, and we thank the administration and board for allowing us to do this tonight, is that today we are proud to grant the first mini grant awards to 4 Wantagh teachers tonight. As we announce each teacher, we'd like them to come up and receive their grant monies. And all this grant money is going to go directly to programs that they have created themselves. And we'd also like you guys to stand up and take a picture as well. So our first recipient is Ms. Pearlstein. For Ms. Pearlstein's class, the Wantagh Foundation will help support the purchase of materials used for experiments for her chemistry class. These items purchased will allow our students to see how items in their everyday life are related to science. We thank you and congratulations. You can stay up too with this. We'll take a group picture. Okay. Our second recipient is Ms. Dessen. Ms. Dessen is a special education teacher in the middle school who's starting a life skills program. The Wantagh Foundation will help support the purchase of materials to help start up a coffee cart program for our middle school students with the goal of teaching various life skills like taking orders, handling money, and delivering the right items to our customers. Congratulations, Ms. Dessen. Our third recipient is for Ms. Sebastiano's class. All the students in Ms. Sebastiano's class will have the opportunity to study their own DNA and use an advanced laboratory. The class plans to go on a field trip in March, and the Wantagh Foundation will cover all expenses and no cost to our participating students. The students will be visiting one of the most renowned genetics research facilities in the world, and it's a great, unique opportunity. So congratulations, Ms. Sebastiano. And finally, I hope Ms. Davis is here. Great. I know she's busy with the production tonight. For Ms. Davis's class, the Wantagh Foundation is supporting the building of a theater library, introducing drama and theater resource books, as well as supporting the curriculum for the middle school ELA classes. The Wantagh Foundation purchased books of various plays, types of acting methods, and other theater resource books that our students now have access to. Congratulations, Ms. Dessen, and break a leg this weekend. And the books will be delivered tomorrow. We want to congratulate our 4 teachers tonight, and we also want to thank all the teachers that have submitted their grant applications. We hope to continue this throughout the year, but we do want to thank our community for supporting this because all the donations we've received have come right back to our teachers. So thank you and congratulations, and we are excited for the new programs you're going to start.
Thank you.
Forest Lake PTA?
Hi, everybody. I'm Mary Beth Reynolds. I'm representing Forest Lake tonight. We just, we have a cookie dough fundraiser going on right now. And we have a wrapping paper fundraiser going on right now that's going to be ending this week. We also just finished, we're wrapping up our Thanksgiving food drive. And our holiday fair just ended last night. It was a great success. The kids were so happy to be back at the school and shopping and in person. It was a great time for everyone. We had picture retakes and our 5th grade, last week we had a reverse raffle that was very successful. Congratulations to Mrs. Burdick for winning the big pot. We also just finished our health night for the 5th graders. And we have an ongoing fundraiser for Phil's Pizza for the rest of every Wednesday for the rest of the month. And I guess I'll do 612 while I'm up here too. I'm the co-president of 612. We have some upcoming fundraisers that we're planning, a comedy night possibly in January. And we're looking to do a SantaCon to promote business for the local restaurants. And we're just wanted to wish everyone a happy holidays. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Mandalay? Wantagh? SEPTA? PTA Council? Sports Booster? Bandwagon? And drama, I think, is a little busy, Tom? And 612 she just did. Ladies and gentlemen, we're about to convene into our public comment period of the meeting. Although state law does not require us to hold a public comment meeting, we have chosen to do so because we believe it's crucial to hear from our community members about their concerns. Having said that, please note this board is here to listen. The public comment period is not designed to be a discussion. Accordingly, do not expect the board to respond to your concerns or questions. That is because we take our concerns and questions seriously and want to have sufficient time to process and research all the issues if necessary. We will, however, respond to your questions and concerns at a future date or have the proper staff member get back to you at the appropriate time. I also want to point out that under state and federal privacy laws, we are unable to entertain comments or questions about personnel. Please know, however, we take our personnel concerns very seriously. On these matters, we would ask you to go through the appropriate administrative channels. We want our school board meetings to serve as an example to our students and members of the school board and members of the community can deal with controversial issues in a civil manner and demonstrate mutual respect for one another. In that spirit, we will insist all speakers and members of the audience please maintain civility and respect. We ask speakers to address their comments to the board directly and not the audience. It is unlikely become event that the meeting becomes unruly. The board will recess the meeting. Finally, I would like to remind everyone you may submit written comments to the board via email in lieu of speaking during a comment period if you so choose. We will now entertain public comments for up to the next 30 minutes. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Marilyn Rich. I'm a Wantagh resident and my children attend school in the district. First, I'd like to thank Superintendent McNamara for the correspondence from October 29th regarding a survey from the New York State Department of Health asking how we would be handling vaccine clinics for ages 5 to 11. And he had answered us saying that at this time, the Wantagh district has no plans to host any vaccine event for ages 5 to 11. And I just wanted to say for the public record, for people that may have missed that, I wanted to confirm if that was the case. That is still the case. Are there any plans at this point for ages 12 to 17 to hold any clinics for that age group? Not at this time. Okay, great. Thank you. I'm sorry, I had some questions that I wanted to address to the board, if I may. On the Wantagh District's website, oops, there is a document that I'm sure you're familiar with. It's called the Wantagh Union Free School District Board of Education Goals 21-22. Section 5 of that document is the communication and advocacy, engage the community and legislators in productive ways to ensure support of district efforts. Line number B reads, continue to hold community forums and survey the community around critical issues as they develop. Line number C reads, continue to engage local legislators and elicit their support of school community, particularly to advocate for additional funding for our district during this challenging time. And line item D reads, actively participate in advocacy groups such as the New York State School Board Association and the New York State Council of School Superintendents, I think that's what those letters stand for, to ensure that our community's voice is heard around critical issues that impact education in New York State. In addition, partner with community-based organizations that can positively collaborate with our district. With that said, I had a couple of questions I'd like to leave with the board, and I'm happy to email them if that's more helpful at a later date. So my questions in regard to this document that you guys have put together as your goals for 21-22. First one being, what plans have been made to survey the community or hold a community forum to combat these vaccine mandates, if any? The second one, which local legislators have been contacted to discuss the potential ramifications, both financially to the school district and emotionally to our students if this mandate passes and we have to remove students from the public education system? You will notice on your way out, a bunch of parents had left shoes. It was a coordinated effort with some parents this evening, just to illustrate how many people will indeed pull their children out of school if a vaccine mandate occurs. My third question, local Board of Educations are now contacting the governor in opposition to the vaccine mandate, stressing the financial ramifications as well as the impact on students. What is our position on that, and when and if do we plan on contacting the governor officially on behalf of the Wantagh School District? As you know, there are bills coming up in January. One specifically, Bill S4244C, would grant schools the ability to vaccinate children without parents' consent if they're over the age of 14. So this, I think, is a very critical issue that's occurring right now in our community, and there are a lot of people that want to know where we stand, what our plans are going to be, and I think a lot of people would appreciate a forum, some sort of community gathering where we can all think together and figure out a way to contact the governor. And everyone says the fight is in Albany, and I understand that, and I think a lot of people understand that, but it's the local effect that's going to get Albany's attention. And right now, I don't see any local involvement from anyone. So I think we need to start thinking about that in a serious matter and maybe make some plans on how we can contact the governor. Lastly, in light of recent events of the National School Board Association calling parents like myself domestic terrorists and initiating the Department of Justice into investigating parents, I was curious, being that you mentioned these groups in this goals document, what is the role of the National School Board Association, specifically in the Wantagh School District? Has there been discussions with the New York State School Board Association to withdraw from an affiliation with the National School Board Association? And lastly, do taxpayers fund in any way the membership to these organizations? And if so, is there any discussion to remove ourselves or talk about how they affect the district at this time? So if you'd like, would you like me to email you those questions? Okay, I will send that. Thank you very much for your time.
Good evening. My name is Jennifer Strauss, and I live in Wantagh. I have a couple questions and a bit of a statement for tonight. My questions and statement revolve around three main topics. A, the partnership between our district and the Anti-Defamation League, the implementation of the New York State Board of Regents Culturally Responsive Sustainable Teaching, and the Wantagh Board of Education's fulfillment of its policies as outlined in their handbook. The ADL is no place for hate. So this program was created by a hyper-partisan group, which is partnered with the Southern Poverty Law Center. This is troubling because the SPLC identifies hate groups and seeks to censor those they disagree with. Interestingly, some entities labeled as hate groups by the SPLC are Jewish groups. The ADL was created to fight anti-Semitism, so their relationship seems curious, but advances my speculation that there's no real attempt to foster healing as much as there is a mutual motivation to profit from division. The ADL inserts themselves into the political arena, which is why I wonder why we partner with them. It's clear you have talented teachers and very empathetic students, so why not create an organic anti-hate group within Wantagh? No outside affiliation. Have you vetted the ADL's curriculum for the No Place for Hate? Does the district believe, as the ADL espouses, that up until 5th grade, kindness is good, but after 5th grade, students must move on from kindness and schools need to foster social justice? Have you ever reported an incident of bullying, harassment, or hate to the ADL? Does the ADL satisfy the New York State Board of Regents framework for CRS teaching? I was told by administrators that the district's partnership with the ADL is loose at best. So why even partner with them at all? It actually defies logic. The New York State Board of Regents Culturally Responsive Sustainable Teaching Framework. In May of 2021, the Board of Regents published their urgent call to action in the form of the CRS framework. It's 64 pages, I read every page, and I'm curious about how it will be worked into the Wantagh School District. What, if any, programs have you initiated at Wantagh to satisfy the Board of Regents guidelines on DEL, DEI, SEL, and CRS teaching? Do you have restorative justice circles in any of the schools? Does the district agree with the Board of Regents when it states, quote, "These national tragedies have combined to create a perfect storm, a storm that is powerful enough to propel us beyond the systemic racism that has come to define America's institutions. This systemic racism pervades all aspects of our lives, including policing, education, healthcare, employment, housing, access to capital, and almost every other conceivable realm," unquote. Do you train teachers in CRS pedagogy? Specifically, as stated in the CRS framework, do you train teachers to participate in an ongoing examination of their implicit bias and interrogation of beliefs and assumptions? Do you, the board, use any third-party consultants for school climate surveys? If so, I'd like to know who those third parties are. Do you have any curriculum that satisfies CRS framework, which the state says should decenter dominant ideologies and pedagogies that ignore and marginalize diverse students? Specifically, what phase of implementation is the Wantagh School District currently in regarding the Board of Regents CRS framework? And finally, the Board of Regents asserts that it has the authority to oversee the general supervision of education activities within the state. With that said, to what extent has Wantagh allowed the Board of Regents to authorize any CRS implementation? The Board of Education and its handbook policies, these are my questions. What is the questionnaire the board used for its self-assessment? Has the Board of Education shared its self-evaluation with the public and stakeholders in the community? Has the board satisfied number 12 found on the community relationship goals page of the handbook, specifically policy 1000 on page 63, which states The board should develop and maintain effective means of communication with the people of the district. To what state and national school board associations does the Wantagh School Board, Board of Education belong? I continue to wait on my FOIL request to better understand CRS teaching and the ADL within the school district. Please know I've already emailed you this document in the hopes that you will answer with specificity all of my questions. I will continue to hope that you will be open to an honest and transparent conversation. I continue to wait for that. Thank you.
Hello, good evening. My name is Trisha Stasi. I have two small children at Wantagh Elementary School, one in first grade and one in fifth grade. Superintendent McNamara, I appreciate your emails back to me. I know you know my name. I appreciate that you responded to my countless emails to you, and I apologize for that, but I am, like many of the parents in this room, just a mom, and I want to advocate for my children who are small. I've also sent countless emails to the Board of Education as listed in their email, and I'm hopeful to receive an email back anytime. I am a co-admin of the Wantagh Parental Choice Group. We have nearly 700 members. We're growing every day. Our members stand on both sides of the fence when it comes to masks and COVID vaccines, but we are joined together for parent choice here in Wantagh. As in all my letters to you, I absolutely have no shame in begging this board to stand with the parents that elected you. It has been over 20 months of masking. There seems to be no off-ramp to obtaining vaccine and obtaining medical freedoms. College students are still in masks, even with the mandate, and we need you. You are our bottleneck to the Department of Health, the CDC, and most importantly, the governor's office. We need you to take a stand in any way and every way to unmask our kids, give parents their options back, and to keep the vaccine mandate away from our children. It can and it won't happen if we don't publicly voice Wantagh as a district of choice. At this point, we all know the science, we all know the risks, we all know the absolute hypocrisy of masking our children at school when they are unmasked everywhere else they go. We know that there are no guarantees to freedom with this mandate, and I don't mean buying a cheeseburger in New York City. I don't care if I never step foot in New York City again. I mean my 6-year-old going to school for another year unmasked for 6.5 hours a day. And it means something to my 6-year-old to be masked this long every single day. And we know where this is going. The CDC has already dropped verbiage of masking through flu season, and I'm sorry, but it's out of control. And I believe that all of you that sit before us tonight are beyond intelligent enough to see what we all see here. And I'm sorry, but it's enough. The parents in this community deserve a say. Our children deserve better after all of this time. There are plenty of districts across the country beginning to unmask and not force the vaccine, and Wantagh should be no different. And I would love for the people and leaders that stand before us tonight to not be silent to our comments and our questions. I know that you mentioned before that you are open to taking emails, and I've sent many emails and haven't received any back, and I appreciate all the work you do for our children, but we deserve to have a dyad. We deserve to have a conversation with you, and as Marilyn said, we're open to any sort of forum. You just tell us the time and the date, and we would be there because there are kids. I know they're your students, but there are kids, and we would love to have a say. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Gina Dignan. Thank you for having us tonight. I'm a resident and parent of 2 boys in the Wantagh School District. It was come to my attention that at the last meeting, I read some passages from a book that were in the 8th grade classroom for voluntary reading. It came to my attention that the audio from the last meeting was not on. We had issues with AV, so everyone at home wasn't able to hear the passages that I read from this book. So if you could just please allow me to reiterate and update you on my emails with Dr. Scolari and Ms. Rossley regarding keeping this book in classes. For anyone who was not available for last month's meeting, I discovered that my 8th grader last year was reading a book for independent reading called Ghost Boys by Jewel Parker Rhodes. I urge everyone to grab a copy of this book if they can and read it. When asking my son what he was reading, he came home and he said, I'm reading a book called Ghost Boys. Tell me what it's about. And he said, well, it's about a 12-year-old, and I'll read the back, 12-year-old Jerome is the latest victim, shot by a white police officer who mistakes his toy gun for a threat. So once I heard that, I knew it probably wasn't going to go in a really good direction. So just to give you some of these passages, and I'll be brief, just here, the latest review from a person who claims to be a best-selling award-winning author. Ghost Boys gently walks readers through the minefield of young Black boys who have been killed due to racism, dating back to the murder of Emmett Till. So right here on the first page, we are underscoring that this book is in fact based on racism and white officers killing young Black boys. Just some passages from the book for everyone at home who did not hear it. Sue, I'm going to sue, says Pop. No sense why my boy's dead and those white men are walking around alive, free. Emmett, just like Emmett Till, says Grandma. Or Tamir Rice then, shouts Pop. 2014, he died in Cleveland. Another boy shot just because he's Black. No justice, no peace, says Pop. Since slavery, white men been killing Blacks. There's another line. This one's absolutely, probably the most disturbing. An open casket, murmurs Ma. I want the whole world to see what they did to my boy. Isn't that what Mrs. Till said? Isn't it? I wonder, who is they exactly? Did more than one person shoot Jerome? I didn't read that in the book. Maybe they're referring to they as being all whites. I'm not sure. Next here. Now it's from the point of view as the Jerome becomes a ghost. He's now able to speak with the daughter of the police officer who shot him. He shot me. My dad protects and serves. That's what policemen do. He didn't protect me. Everybody in my neighborhood knows cops do whatever they want. That's not true. He upholds the law. I grunt. Upset, the girl rocks back on her heels. Cops do whatever they want is a pretty bold statement. That's the stupidest thing. I've never had a friend like Sarah, a white girl. I laugh. It's so stupid. Die and a white girl can be your friend. I never knew that Blacks and whites couldn't be friends. Yes, maybe someone might shoot me. Nah, you're a girl and white. Is that it? Is that true? I shrug my shoulders. How many times had I heard, be careful of police, be careful of white people? I was unaware that white people don't get shot by police. Heard prejudice can affect your thoughts, actions, whether consciously, knowing, or unconsciously. I'm not a racist. Possibly you were responding to unconscious stereotypes of Black men as large, threatening, dangerous. I think that's a direct insinuation that white officers have an unconscious bias toward Black men. Now remember, this is being read by an 8th grader, 12 years old. Hers is a fantasy world, like a TV family in a huge house with plenty of money and food. Being poor is real. Does Pop know Officer Moore gets paid for not working, for killing me? Paid for killing me. It's amazing.
It's not Sarah's fault, he says. Sarah can change. What exactly are we changing about a young white girl? It matters why my dad shot you. Why? So you can feel better? There was chanting outside the courtroom, no justice, no peace. They carry signs that say, justice for Jerome, Black children's lives matter. Stay woke. Is my son next? Then there was a reference to the school librarian taking the daughter of the police officer to a computer. Miss Penny types the word casket and till in the computer and hits search. I know we all have phones. I know our children mostly all have phones. If any of you care on the board, in the audience at home, to Google casket and till, you will find probably the most disturbing image you will see in your entire life. 12 years old. Lastly, at the end, there were discussion questions. Many people have interpreted Black Lives Matter as an anti-police movement. Does Ghost Boys strike you as an anti-police book? How does the book portray Officer Moore and police in general? What did you know about Black Lives Matter and the civil rights movement before reading Ghost Boys? I don't know about anybody in this room, but by definition, Black Lives Matter is a terrorist organization and should never be equated with a civil rights movement. So I had a meeting back in March with Dr. Scolari and Ms. Rossley. My husband and I requested that this book be removed from the classroom. Even though it is independent reading and he chose this book, my son should not have had access to something like this at 12 years old. I was encouraged to read the book, finish it, because I would find that maybe there was some way of making this make sense to a 12-year-old. I did finish the book and I emailed Dr. Scolari and Ms. Rossley, and I said that I am still firmly against this book being in circulation. Even though Officer Moore was acquitted, there were tremendous racial overtones that can't be overlooked or undone or unseen, images that can't be unseen of Emmett Till in a casket. Officer Moore was still depicted as prejudiced and guilty, and there's an obvious theme of police brutality against Black men that can't be unread, regardless of the outcome. I asked still that the book be removed. I was told that by Dr. Scolari, as discussed at the meeting, we will remove the book for this school year and reevaluate moving forward for the proper placement of the book and at which level we think it is best suited for. At that time, they did agree that this book was more than likely over the heads of a 12-year-old, and especially given the climate a year ago, it probably wasn't the best idea to have this book on a shelf for a child to read. I did ask for an update in October. I said, can you please provide me with an update as to your reevaluation of the Ghost Boys book in the classroom for this this year? Will it be removed completely from the classroom? I received an email from Dr. Scolari. Hello, Mrs. Dignan. I hope all is well with you and your family. I apologize for not getting back to you sooner as I was out of the building. After a discussion and evaluation of the social studies and English curricula with Mrs. Rossley and Dr. Ferris, it was determined that this book is indeed properly placed in an 8th grade classroom, 12 years old, although we have not yet replaced this text. I reply that I am absolutely astonished at this response, especially given your agreement with me back in March that the content and grade level were likely inappropriate. That was actually verbalized to me by Dr. Scolari. I said, what has changed in the last 6 months? Ms. Rossley replied to me, nothing has changed in the past 6 months. Although we did review Ghost Boys, as we said we would do in our conversation with you last March, and determined that this book is appropriately placed in the 8th grade based on the social studies and English curricula. While I vehemently disagree with that, Maybe instead of worrying about the social studies and English curricula, we should take that and put it aside for a moment and think about the real life situations that our world are in, the people in this community that are a very high majority or a very high percentage police officers. Maybe we should stop for a moment and think about the way our children are perceiving something like this. I don't care if it's a reading level for an 8th grader. That means nothing to me. The content of this book does not belong in the 8th grade, 9th, 10th, 11th, or 12th. I wouldn't read this book if you paid me. But unfortunately, I was forced to because this is what my 12-year-old was reading. I am again asking every person on this board and everyone in this audience to at least send an email and request again that this book be reviewed and removed from the shelves. We're not doing anything for our children by allowing something like this to continue to divide us. We need things that are going to bring us together. This is not one of those things, and I think you all know that. So again, please consider removing this book from your library and the shelves. Thank you.
This is written on both sides. It says no mandates, don't lose your freedoms. We must fight for them. The other one is freedom to choose. I just wrote this, so I hope this is going to be okay reading this. Can I bring this down? How do I do that? Thank you. That's better. Whew. Okay. An article from CNBC.com on 10/8/21. The headlines read, Finland and Sweden are limiting the use of the Moderna COVID-19 vaccine in young people over concerns around the cardiovascular side effects. Iceland also on 10/8/21 stopped the use of the Moderna COVID-19 vaccine for all ages over heart inflammation concerns. November 12th, 2021, from Life Science News, they stated Taiwan holds the second Pfizer shot for teens over heart health concerns for 12 to 17-year-olds. Taiwan is not considering the shot for 12 and under at this time. All three of these vaccines in the US are still emergency use. And yes, that includes Pfizer. You can call each of them and they will tell you they are emergency use only. The vaccine that has been approved is Comirnaty, whatever. Comirnaty is still in production. How would a vaccine that is approved still be in production? That is the million-dollar question. How are the mainstream media, the governor, and our government officials saying Pfizer has been approved when you can call Pfizer yourself and they can tell you it is classified as an emergency use authorization? And my friend did that. She did that. I couldn't believe it. I pulled up the VAERS website, and it was only through November 5th, 2021 that I looked at when I last looked. It stated 18,461 deaths. Technically, only 1% is reported to the VAERS system. You really need to add 2 zeros to that. That would be 1,846,100 people dead. A family member was diagnosed with cancer and she was given a choice to treat it or not to treat it. She was given a choice. Why are we being forced to take a vaccine that we don't know anything about when there is a 99% survival rate? This is unconstitutional. Another interesting fact that came out in the news, the FDA asked the federal judge to grant it until the year 2076, again, 2076, to fully release Pfizer's COVID-19 vaccine data. The federal government shields Pfizer from liability, gives them billions of dollars, makes Americans take its product, but won't let you see the data supporting its safety and efficacy. Who does the government work for? Certainly doesn't sound like for the people. People all over are begging for help because of the adverse reactions they have experienced. Where is the government? Where are all the doctors helping the people? Again, certainly doesn't sound like the government is for we the people. We know who the government works for. They work for themselves when they should be working for us. Who does the Board of Education work for? The last I checked, the Board of Education is supposed to support and help our kids. Kids under the age of 18 still have to have parental approval. Us parents are here to support and advocate for our kids. I would like to know why the school and the Board of Ed are not working with the parents to help us find a solution together to fight for choice and freedom from dictatorship mandates. I'm going to repeat that again. Why the Board of Ed and the school not working with the parents to help find a solution together to fight for choice of freedom from dictatorship mandates and terrible curriculum choices that will only hurt our kids. The Board of Ed's handbook policy the Board of Ed's handbook policy 1000 on page 63, number 12, develop and maintain an effective means of communication with the people in the district. So far, I don't think any of us have seen this. There are several people who have spoken at these meetings stating they have written letters and have not gotten any response from the Board of Ed. You made a decision to volunteer, but what have you done to work with the parents for the students you claim to support? You don't get back to anybody. What can we do together to change this? Again, according to the policy 1000 on page 63, number 12, the Board of Ed is supposed to maintain an effective means of communication with people in the district. So I'm hoping you're going to think about this and find a solution. Perhaps there should be an ongoing meetings here at the high school on how we can effectively go against these mandates that are unconstitutional. We really need to work together. In the Wantagh Board of Ed handbook, another policy 300, page 60. This says it is the board's self-evaluation to the public. I'm curious if the board's evaluation of itself matches what the community thinks of how the board operates. The board is not transparent, and we don't feel the board is forthcoming with answers. So we would like to see the board communicate with various topics that we are bringing forth tonight and on the other nights that we've spoke on. These things really must change. If you all notice the Operation Shoe Drop that is happening right now outside, have you ever seen such a time where people go to the trouble of expressing their right to freedom and parental choice? Parents are frustrated and we don't know what else to do. We're coming to the board meetings, writing letters and protesting. What else can we do? We really need everyone here at the school district and the Board of Education to work with the parents against these forced mandates. It would mean a lot to us parents to figure out how to fight against these mandates. They are unconstitutional. I would like to know why the school is not getting involved in the lawsuits. If other schools are, why can't we join them? I love my daughter and I don't want to see anything happen to her. We do not know enough about these vaccines that we should be forcing it upon people. Those who want to have the vaccine, that is completely fine. That is great. That is their decision. I'm happy for them. My parents got it. In the last 30 years, all these vaccines combined that have been put on the market, they don't have the same death toll and vaccine injury as the COVID-19 vaccine has, which has been out for such a short period of time. Many parents are asking for help. We need the school's help to fight against these mandates. Us parents are going to be forced to pull our kids out from school and homeschool them. Those shoes outside signify each kid that will be pulled from the school. And there probably will be many more once it comes upon us because we're going to be forced. We all need to come together in some kind of a forum to see if we could figure this out together so we can be one unit. They're trying to divide us, and as you can see, it's working, and we can't do that. We all have to stop fighting, come together, and speak kind to each other. Lastly, I really want to add, regarding what Jennifer Strauss has been doing with the amount of hours she has put in, writing and doing FOIL requests and bringing it to our attention. I really would love, that's another thing, I really would love to have all of her questions answered, as well as Marilyn Rich and also Gina Diegman. That book is horrific. I read books my whole life, and I'm horrified with all the books my daughter has read. And I've come to this board with the book. And the woman I was speaking with, I don't remember her name. She was incredibly nice in the beginning of the summer when I spoke with her about the book. And she made a mention to me about another book. At the end of the year, I called her and I was horrified how strong she was with me, and nobody complained about this book. I was really upset to hear that. I was shocked. I can't actually imagine. And it was apocalyptic, everybody. For those of you who don't know, it was a book on, I forgot the name of it, but it was all about, after coming out of COVID, they were stuck in their houses, boarded up. It was suicides left and right. And they're going to keep that on the shelf. So I'm starting to think we need to do an audit. We need to have an audit of all of our books, because I can guarantee every single one of you and every single person in this place have never read these kinds of books growing up. So I think we need an audit of all of the books, because we need to have better books on the shelves for our kids. Something positive, something uplifting. And one of the people that I admire is Ben Carson. He came from poverty and look what he is now. I mean, read a book like that, a story of a person's life who made it into something. So we need to have choice. We need to come together. I really think we need to start having forums.
Hello, how are you? Matthew Rich. I don't speak as well as my wife, but I will try to get my point across. I think the bottom line is that everybody here has asked the board questions over month after month after month. Very rarely do we get answers. We ask to meet with people. They don't have time to meet with people. It gets down to the bottom line that we didn't elect a school board to be silent. You're supposed to be supporting us. We elected you, right? If we elected you, you should be supporting, at least talking with us about what we want, right? Not just what you want, the Politburo, right? You guys are in charge. You get to make all the decisions and that's it. Well, it doesn't work that way, right? I guess it does. In the school board, on the website, in your rules, regulations, there is a citizens advisory committee that can only be created by the school board. This citizen advisory committee would have an advisory only, no powers, may be enlisted to help recommend policy. Hey, any idea of thinking about that? Maybe you guys can, engage the community in what our problems are and what our issues are. Think about it, because you sit there silent month after month. Do something about it. Stand up, have some courage. Thank you.
Hello, I'm a student at Wantagh High School. I believe you've seen me up here before. Back on the subject of Emmett Till in that book, back in 8th grade, we actually learned it in class and our teacher showed us pictures of it through a video, and we were asked to say what was the goal of the magazine, who published it, and what it means to us, and what they were trying to prove. This shouldn't be taught. The pictures are horrifying. And I saw this last year. I was born in November, which means I was 11 at the time, which is younger than most students who are 12 or 13 at the time. So is an 11-year-old really supposed to see a bruised and battered face of a poor boy and be taught that it was white people who killed him just because they're white and they're Black? That is not how the world is supposed to be seen. I went to school in the city. I went to school with many different people and kids. They were all my friends. I'm white, but I didn't look at color for anybody. I said, oh, hey, nice to meet you. Thank you, you are my friend now. That's not right. And back with the subject of the mask and vaccine mandates. I'm a student. I don't want the vaccine in my body right now. I already had COVID. I survived, as most kids do. So why would I need a vaccine? Just as the CDC just put out that says people who already had COVID cannot spread COVID. So if it's my body, my choice, why should I put the vaccine into my body if I don't want it? Thank you for having me up here. I hope you hear my opinion, like many other students who do not want that vaccine.
Harry Fuchs. I have a daughter in Mandalay. I just want to be clear that people have opinions. I have an opposite opinion. I do not want the parents in this room making decisions for who educates my daughter. I want the school board to make decisions. I want the teachers. I want the principals to make decisions, because I do want a well-rounded education for my daughter. And though it's extremely unpleasant to learn about the Holocaust and see pictures of people being tortured and killed, it's incredibly important, because we don't want these things to be repeated. So I do want my daughter to learn about the terrible things that have happened in this country. I love America. America's the greatest country in the world, but it's not perfect. And she needs to learn that, you know what? Sometimes people do bad things, and that's okay. And that's how we build compassion. And And that's how we build empathy. Wantagh is a great community. I love living here. And I want my daughter to have a very well-rounded education, guided by professionals who have gone to school for years and years and years, sometimes even a doctorate level degree, have written dissertations on education, and understand the development of a child. I don't care how many books anybody reads. When you study education and you go through the process of learning how kids develop, psychology, the pedagogy, this is how you learn to work with children. I will teach my daughter my values at home, and I encourage everyone in this audience to teach their values at home. But I want my daughter to have a well-rounded education where she sees both sides of an issue and understands that there's good and bad in everybody, and understands that, yeah, sometimes good people do bad things. So I implore the Board of Education to listen to my opinion and know that I'm sure I'm not alone. I may not be as energetic or as entertaining as some of the speakers tonight, but I do have an opinion, and I'm sure it's opinion of other people in the community. It may be not as loud as the people we saw here, and that's okay too. But I live here too, I pay my taxes. I'm a very proud American, and I also want the best for my kid. And at home, like I said, I will make sure that I teach her my values, but when she comes to school, I want her to get the proper education, which means a well-rounded, all sides of every issue, and unbiased learning of events. And yeah, sometimes those events are difficult. So I implore the board to continue to make decisions based on what is best for children. Thank you so much. Have a great evening.
I already know I spoke already. I just wanted to say one thing, because we are all parents in here, and I've been an educator for 21 years. I have 4 degrees, but when it comes down to it, no one cares. I'm a mom, and these are my kids. And like everybody else in this room, we're happy. We are happy to work together with this board in any way, so we're all respected and that we are all have a voice when it comes to our kids. No one's saying push one out, push this one out. We want to be included. That's why we're here. That's why we write letters to you. I'm sure when you see Stasi, you want to delete. And I'm sure, and I respect that because I get what you're doing. I'm in education too. At the end of the day, we just want to be a part of what's happening with our children. It's our community. So no one's asking to be excluded. We're asking to be included in this. We're part of the PTA. It's parents and teachers. It's not one or the other. So like I said before, say what and where, and we're all here for it. We all want to be a part of it. Thank you.
All right, seeing no one else, that'll close our public comment period. Just a couple of comments for me. First of all, thank you for everyone that shared some of their thoughts tonight. Mrs. Rich, just to get back to you on a couple of things. There's a number of questions in there. Please forward that email to us. I'll answer those. Just a couple of points on that. In terms of the advocacy, we work with our local folks, Senator Brooks and Dave McDonough. Those are the folks that we have regular conversations with about a whole host of issues. And a lot of that advocacy work is about finance and funding, and getting dollars for our school. Senator Brooks was instrumental in helping us, even just with some of the federal funding that we were shorted not so long ago. We'll have extensive work done at our middle school and our art rooms coming up this summer as a result of almost a $200,000 grant that he helped get us. So we have regular conversations with those folks. And yes, the board is part of the New York State School Boards Association, and they do pay dues to that organization. They represent us on a whole host of issues, certainly beyond just COVID-related issues. They also help us in terms of policy development. You know, they have a whole policy division, and they are instrumental in keeping us up to date on various policies. And then the other one you referenced to was the New York State Council of School Superintendents, and I am a member of that organization as well. And same type of thing from providing professional development updates on the latest in terms of legislation. Mrs. Strauss, I know you had a number of questions in there. We'll certainly look for that email from you. I know you had the opportunity to meet with Dr. Ferris. I know you had an opportunity to share some of your concerns there about the No Place for Hate. It is a program that we are extremely proud of. We have a hardworking staff at the middle school that really does an excellent job in terms of bringing that concept to the forefront, really advocating for kindness and really having our students work together and respect one another. And that's really the genesis of the day. They really, a big part of it is a grassroots effort. The staff member responsible for that works with the other staff members to put together a whole host of activities on that day to really help spread respect and kindness in our schools, and really takes the time to relate to the curriculum, the items that they'll be working on, and really tailors lessons on that day to each curricular area. So I certainly applaud their efforts. Once again, number of questions in there that we'll look to respond to. Ms. Stasi, I know we've had conversation before via email. I certainly understand your position and where you stand regarding the mask issue, and certainly thank you for your comments there. We'll continue to update you as we learn more. I just had a real brief update for you tonight in terms of where it looks like things are heading. But as I said, I don't have anything official there yet. And Mrs. Degnan, once again, understand your comments regarding the book. I know you've had ongoing communication with our staff regarding that. Ms. DiBiase, a number of different comments there. I believe, just in terms of the vaccinations, I really don't have comment there. But in terms of, the mandates, those come from Albany, and in terms of, we'll continue to work with our local representatives. But those are the folks that have a direct line there, and I know who those folks are. I know you've reached out to them, but certainly they're certainly receptive to those conversations. I've had those conversations with them as well. Mr. Rich, I know you referenced the Citizen Advisory Committee. That's the board will call advisory committees on various topics at various times. And for example, we have an advisory bond committee that'll be launching in January. So we do that. I understand the request around masking and vaccinations, that that's really what you're looking for. And to Mr. Fuchs' point, there are diverse opinions around that. And I certainly just want to respect and hear those diverse opinions. And we'll continue to do that. I respond to all these comments. I know there was a running theme tonight that they haven't heard from the board. I respond on the board's behalf to comments made at meetings. I'll reach out to folks afterwards, and we'll continue to do so. And I know I've had many conversations with many in this room tonight as well. So once again, thank you for attending tonight. We appreciate you taking the time with us, and we wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving once again.